here. JR Shepard dives down to the inside, trying to see if he's able to get a little bit of that tack that Brandon Proudfoot has been getting up at the front of the field. 10 laps to go here at Port Royal.
Yeah, definitely not making a huge ground here on Brian. Brian's able to maintain that gap.
It's Big Justin Morton back into second with J.R. Shepard somehow taking over the lead. I have no idea.
These guys, you see Scott kind of using up all that momentum. Got to enter the corner wide. I expected with kind of cut back low. See lap car down on the inside. George overshoots the corner. Scott puts that car just where he needs to on the middle. It's going to be a drag race through the kink. Thomas George gets loose. Scott Eckridge has the opportunity to come home with a win right now. Side-by-side drag race.
Oh, wow.
Scott Eckridge, 5/1000ths of a second. Welcomes you to the Chuckles. I'm in danger. 250 can possibly go to the outside. He does go to the outside of Ricky Harden. Tries a slide draft him. Harden goes up the track. Now back down to the bottom. Gets a huge push from Tommy Ryan at the start finish. It's going to be Thomas George.
Running the high line, trying to make that
got
pass.
Loose up turn 4.
In the grass goes the 6 car, and they were side by side, 2 by 2 here.
Still Scott Eckridge winning the last race of the season and the championship.
Jeff Ford definitely getting the championship for season 2.
Give it up for Thomas George, winning the race in the championship. George overshoots the corner. Scott puts that car just where he needs to on the middle. It's going to be a drag race through the kink. Last week, it was Cosmin Ioanniscu who took the win in a thrilling, albeit shortened race in Fontana. The third round of the 2023 PGRL season brings us to the second stop on our West Coast swing and the third type of different track. This one being the first 1.5 miles at its Las Vegas. Welcome to Sin City for the Mars Properties Vacation Rentals 200. From Las Vegas Motor Speedway, you're watching the Virtual Grip Network. I'm Austin Belke, joined by J.R. Shepard and Kenny Kibbe in the booth with our director Ryan Seneker in the production trailer. J.R., what can you tell us about Las Vegas Motor Speedway?
Well, Austin, Las Vegas Motor Speedway is a 1.5 mile D-shaped oval that has progressive banking all the way up to 20 degrees in the corners here. That progressive banking is going to give the drivers lots of options. Tonight you will see these drivers use up all of the real estate that is available to them, including using the apron here on the front straightaway. That means any time that we have a restart, you will see cars going wherever there is an opening, trying to make something happen. This will mean sometimes 3 or 4 wide situations, which can produce some big wrecks, just like we saw racing for the lead last week. Austin, this is a super fast and exciting speedway to watch a race at, and it's nicknamed the Diamond in the Desert. Tonight, we're going to see which driver gets to shine like that diamond here.
Thanks, JR. Usually this is when we talk to the Mahan Speed Laboratories You Finished Last Pull Award winner. This week it's Tyler Graff. I can't see Tyler in the Discord. So, Kenny, let's go ahead and talk about your keys.
Yeah, so tonight's a 200-mile race, a half distance of the regular Cup event that was 400 miles. 5 sets of tires will be sitting in the pits for these drivers tonight. 75% fuel limit as always, and it'll be around, or not quite, a 50-lap fuel run, so expect at least 2 pit stops for fuel. And the keys to the race tonight, adapting quickly to the iRacing updates that literally just came out today. There's new tire parameters, new drafting parameters. The cars have different rev limiters. There's a few other little changes as well. New setups as well. So I jumped in the car. It felt a little bit different than it had previously this past week. So that's going to be a challenge for all the drivers. Tricky pit road entry under green. We may have green flag pit stops. The field sometimes spreads out a decent bit. We'll have to see if that comes to fruition, and also avoiding the bumps, or at least managing the bumps in turn 1. Very tricky. Turn 1 a lot bumpier than turn 3, and you can make time down there, but it's tricky, especially with fresh cold tires.
Thanks, Kenny. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and bring you folks at home on up to the starting grid. Tyler Graff in the number 98 car is going to start on pole with Angel Jamie to his outside. In the second row, we've got Ryan Rose on the inside and Creighton Carter on the outside in fourth. Rolling off in fifth is Pete Baskins, followed by William Farmer in sixth. Joshua O'Connor, a podium finish for him in Daytona. He'll line up in the seventh spot with Clarence Bonner to his outside. Adam Hogland is going to line up in the ninth position with Scott Eckrich, rounding out your top 10 starters. Brady Cure is going to line up in 11th, followed by Cody Dempster in the 24 car, who's going to roll off in 12th, followed by Joe Branch, who lines up in the 13th position. Matthew Wheeler is going to roll off in 14th, followed by Woody Mahan, who starts in 15th. Mark Herzog in the 57 car is going to roll off P16, followed by Chris Stouffer in 17th, with Kevin Bartelt in 18th. Kevin, of course, the bad luck driver for many races, looking to turn that luck around today. Shane Parrish and Aiden Gritz round out your top 20, JR.
Yeah, starting 21st tonight, we have Doug Roth. Alongside him in 22nd will be Brian Yazik. Starting 23rd is Joe Hassert. 24th is Isaiah Dupre. 25th is Mike Rasmus. Starting 26th tonight will be Safe Ferries. Jake Sylvia, he'll roll off in 27th. Alongside him will be Adam Jersky in 28th. Alex Kretz, 29th. Jordan Harness will roll off in 30th. Michael Krobach, 31st. Vincent Crowes, 32nd. Starting 33rd tonight is Colton Salick. 34th is Cosmin Yaonishu. Will Farmer, he'll roll off in 35th. Ed Fowler, 36th. Ron Hart, 37th. Adam Blatto, he'll start 38th tonight. Terry Marinaro, he'll start 39th. Jason Galvin will be 40th. And your last row on the field here will be Jeff Ward and Thomas George, two guys we're going to have to pay attention to tonight.
Thanks, JR. The field now pacing down the back straightaway behind the iRacing pace car. We're going to go green this next time by the start-finish stripe. JR, these cars, they have all new drafting parameters for following each other, getting slipstreams, even new tires parameters. This certainly is going to be an awesome race. We wait for the iRacing pace car to make its way down the track out of turn number 4, make the hard left turn down pit road, making sure all the drivers keep to their P's and Q's. iRacing pace car finally going to dart off the track, and almost immediately Tyler Graff is going to stomp on the loud pedal. He caught much of the field sleeping there. You can see just how spaced out they already are until about halfway through the back of the pack. They get to those drivers, JR, kind of just sitting there really trying to make sure you don't get in too much trouble right off the bat.
Yeah, exactly. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. Guys will be tempted on these restarts to go 3 and 4 wide, just trying to make something happen because this track's very wide and you can run on every inch of it. So right now at the beginning of this race, guys kind of taking it easy to make sure they don't get themselves in a bad situation.
Now in practice, Jared, we talked about how it looked like a lot of guys were getting tight, especially out of turn 4. Is that something that you have to keep in mind right off the bat to make sure you don't burn through your tires too fast, especially wearing out that right front? Or does the car pretty much feel good for right now? You could push it as much as you want.
Yeah, Austin, I think with these next-gen cars, the setups are always just a little bit tight, especially on certain tracks, and turn 4 is always one of these one of the issues here at Las Vegas that you're going to have problems with, being tied up off of that corner. We saw some guys get tied on the opening lap there. You're going to have to remember how your car is handling and how to save that right front tire. If you burn that right front tire off, it's going to be an extremely long race for you because your car is going to be way slower than everybody else around you.
Battle you saw on your screen right there, that was the 89 car of Creighton Carter making his way down to the inside of the 78 of Ryan Rose, and now all of a sudden Rose falling under attack from that number 39 car of Pete Baskins. Now very often last season especially, we'd see Pete out of his own Patriot Media car, this week sporting a green and white livery.
Yeah, and we've talked about this all year last year with the PGRL series, how there's so many talented painters here in this series. And we continue to see it already. We're on race 3 of the season, and we're already seeing some new paint schemes. It's very cool, very great to see their talents not both on the track and in the paint booth.
Boy, look at that run that 99 car got out of turn 2. All of a sudden, Pete Baskins got a good run, forced to check himself up just a little bit from Ryan Rose, not going too fast through the corner. Just up ahead of these guys, the 89 car of Creighton Carter got around the 4 car of Jamie. Man, look at that 99 going all the way to the top, high, wide, and handsome, Mr. Clarence Bonner.
Yeah, and you pay attention to him on the screen here. You can see the momentum that he's able to carry using that higher line. Now, by doing that, he's running a very nice line. You see he's not coming off real high right against the wall. He's doing what he needs to do with the throttle and the braking and his steering inputs to keep it away from that wall and keep the damage away from his car. But guys will be tempted to go up there and they'll start to drive a little bit harder, and you may eventually see somebody get into that wall, and it can cause a big wreck at this racetrack.
78 car of Ryan Rose following him through, as is the 24 car of Cody Dempster. Big wiggle there out of the 39 car. You could just see that out of the corner of your screen there. That white and green number 39 car getting a little bit loose on the bottom of the track. Just behind those two drivers, you can see a two-wide battle. That looks to be the 25 car, Brady Keir on the outside. He's got the 06 of William Farmer down to his inside. Looking to see if those two drivers can get it settled out just before they get to turn one. Dead even as they cross the stripe.
Yeah, and it's good to see early here, Austin, that we do have two wide action. Guys are able to run the bottom and the top. These guys are still trying to fill out these cars because they did make some changes with the iRacing update, and everybody is still continuing to get used to it. But right now, everybody's running clean and filling out their cars out appropriately.
Kenny, I'm really surprised, and you can talk to this extremely well. A couple years ago, we ran trucks here in Las Vegas, and boy, you did not want to be on the bottom of turn 2 coming off there, because those bumps would unsettle the car or truck so much you practically had to back out of the throttle. It's interesting to see, look at a guy like Scott Eckridge, now Angel Jamie on the bottom, really able to hold the car down there until they come off the corner. It's not really until about halfway down the back straightaway you can see the fruits of their labor, these guys up on the high side.
Yeah, I mean, I ran a few practice laps and saw that the cars are actually decently pliable over the bumps. Now, I say decently; they're still really stiff. It's still uncomfortable down there, but at least the low line is always the shorter way around, and you're naturally going to save a little bit of tire being down on the low side, because you're not trying to hold as much mid-corner speed like you do on the high side. The high side's fast, you gain you keep momentum, but sometimes that mid-corner speed with a tight setup can wear your right front tire out a little quickly. So that's why you'll sometimes see drivers run down the bottom anyway. But it is tough to make passes down there. It's hard to maintain the momentum and hard to hit your marks when your car is jostling all over the place.
Two cars you see battling on your screen. The car to the inside is the 99 machine. Car on the outside is a 24 car. You've got Cody Dempster up top trying to hold Clarence Bonner off there. Cody Dempster going around on the top side looking to take that spot away. Move Dempster now into the third position. Just ahead of him, obviously, Creighton Carter, Tyler Graff. Tyler has led every lap so far in the race, almost 3 wide as they come off of turn 4. Look at that huge wiggle as the 39 car there. Pete Baskins shot all the way down to the bottom, and just behind these guys, there's about 5 or 6 cars under a blanket. It's a hornet's nest right now, JR, from about 8th position on back.
Yeah, we're at the point in this race, about 10 laps in.
Look at Martell going for a slide. Sorry, JR. He saved it. What a phenomenal job.
No, big save. Great job by Kevin there, because I really thought that a caution was coming out. So good job hanging onto the car. Last year, I think that would have been a wreck. These guys have come a long way with how to drive these cars and how to correct them.
Oh, man, 2 cars getting really into each other. That was the 44 car of Safe Ferries up into the outside. I think he was tagging Shane Parrish. Really hard to tell from this angle. Might have been the 18 car of Jake Sylvia. You can see they're still 3 wide with each other. Yeah,
that was Shane Parrish on the high side, and they actually door slammed again down into turn 1 and 2, and now they're 3 wide. I noticed there was not hardly any 3 wide action for about the first 5 laps, and now all of a sudden the aggression has kicked up. Drivers starting to get a little more comfortable, and with comfortability comes aggression.
I was just going to ask, Kenny, is all these guys finally going 3 wide? Is that becoming more maybe desensitized to the fact they're running around here at the better part of 170 mile an hour in the middle of the corners without a whole lot of practice to how these cars race with each other? Because like we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, a whole different drafting model to how these cars race together in a pack.
Yeah, I think so. I think the first few laps were just kind of to feel some stuff out and get used to the drafting characteristics a little bit. But now it's back to business as usual as drivers trying to make their way through the field. And also, this is about the turnaround point that I noticed when I ran NIS, where tires started to actually feel different at about lap 15. And when that happens, you're going to start to see drivers fall back and other drivers moving forward. So that's where the pack is going to start condensing in together.
Yeah, down the backstretch, there was a car on the outside wall. That was the number 99 car, Clarence Bonner, smoking the outside wall. Didn't make too hard a contact, but he's dropped about 10 positions since making that contact with the wall. You can see, JR, he's still dropping positions. I have to wonder if he's got that car hurt in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah, I'm thinking he's probably got some suspension damage from that contact with the wall. Nothing crazy, but definitely something that's going to affect how he's able to drive the car, and that's why he's slowed way down. He's probably going to be looking to get down to pit road and try to get that fixed, but I've been watching him for a couple laps before that. He'd been getting really loose, touching the apron at times, and then sliding up the track. There he goes again with a wiggle, so that car is not in good shape right now.
Yeah, but the outside wall again as they come off at turn 4. You can see the rest of the field cutting down to the inside, taking evasive action. You can see Doug Roth. How about that number 9 car, Jeff Ward, also diving down to the bottom. Again, we shift our eyes back forward, up further through the pack. The cars in battle at the front of your screen, very right side now, bottom right, you can see now left side. Angel Jamie in the 4. His outside is the number 7 car, Chris Stouffer, side by side as they come off the corner. This time by to the stripe, it's the 7 car, Chris Stouffer. But these guys, I tell you what, Chris has been stalking Angel for a long time, and it's looked like that 4 car has been the cork in the bottle for a lot of these guys from about 8th position on back.
Yeah, for sure. Angel, he started up in the 2nd position, has already fallen back to 8th, getting ready to be passed for that position currently by William Farmer. So he's definitely moving backwards and kind of holding some guys up at times. On the other hand, Chris Stouffer there in the 7, he's up from 17th all the way into 7th and has more speed in that car. He's going to keep moving forward. Yeah, just 2 different sides of an equation there. You've got the 4 car, he's already dropped 6 spots. He started in 2nd. Currently, he's riding around in 8th position, and Jerry, you just mentioned it. Chris Stouffer started 17th, currently up to 7th. One guy that's moved up a whopping 17 positions already, Alex Gretz in the 17 car, rolling around right now in the 12th position. We're looking at here Woody Mahan out the front end of his car. That's that battle we were just talking about between the 7 car of Stouffer, the 4 car of Jamie.
Guys, we actually have a battle for the lead going on right now. We saw Tyler Graff open up a 2-second advantage to start this race, and maybe push the limit on his tires a little bit too far, as now we have a lead change. Creighton Carter has now taken over the point spot, and it looks like the top 3 to 4 here have kind of separated themselves from the rest of the field. And like you guys were talking about before, the real battle pack starts outside the top 10, and it seems like the field is getting a little more spread out into these little skirmishes of 3 to 4 cars each.
Yeah, even Cody Dempster has now joined this 2-wide battle for the lead. He cuts down to the inside there of that 98 car of Tyler Graff, our pole sitter. And how about that cat there in 4th position, Scott Eckrich? Kenny, you just mentioned he's broken himself away a little bit from the rest of the pack that last time by. He's looking to make sure he can get up there and lead some laps as well.
I'm honestly a little bit surprised at how early Eckrich is up towards the front, because we've known him as being really good on the long run, and he's good on the short run too, but typically his mentality is to kind of wait it out and come alive in the second half of a run. We have not reached the halfway point in this fuel run yet, and here he is already in the top 4 and looking really good right now with his lap times, better than the leaders in front of him.
Well, to be fair, Kenny, you know, you have to give Scott Eckrich the benefit of the doubt in saying that, because ever since maybe the first race of the 2nd season last year, Scott's been starting at the tail end of the field. This is the first season so far where he hasn't been relegated to starting in one of the last 2 spots. He started today in the 10th position, so a lot higher up already off the gate than we're normally seeing him. The battle you're watching on your screen is the battle for the lead. Cody Dempster there to the inside of Creighton Carter. Looks like he's going to take the spot away. Oh, caution out.
Oh yeah, looks like we had a pretty large wreck on the back stretch. Safe Ferris was one of them involved. We had a 3-wide situation. We'll take a look at it here.
So yeah, we'll see if we can't get a replay here to check out the cause for caution. Multiple cars involved as they came out of turn 2 and down the back straightaway. This is a replay here. Kenny, talk me through this one. Ryan, maybe we can't get maybe a blimp view or a helicopter angle.
Yeah, if we can get an overhead, you'll see the car in the middle, the 44 of Ferris. He kind of shifts up the track just a little bit and gets into the side of Brady Cure, and then overcorrects into the car on the inside there, which was Will Farmer. And they wreck, and I think the yellow car, Mark Herzog, gets a little bit collected in this. But honestly, looking at the cars, I don't think there's a ton of damage on these vehicles. So they might be able to keep going.
I feel like Mark Herzog probably is going to get out of this with minimal damage as well. He seemed to have hit that 44 car Safe Fair's pretty square. It looks like a lot of guys, though, coming down pit road. See if we can't get a live view on this to watch the battle off of pit road. Look at Scott Eckridge all over the back bumper of the 98 car. He's practically pushing him down pit road.
Yeah, sometimes there's a little discrepancy in pit road speed if drivers want to be aggressive or really conservative about it. But here you go, first line of pit stops here tonight, and everybody's going to take 4 tires. A little bit early to be pitting for tires, or actually it's kind of right on time as far as making tires last all the way to the end. You might actually see drivers even experiment with 2 tires today, but it doesn't look like it for now, as Cody Dempster wins the race off pit road with Eckridge behind. These were all 4 tire pit stops, and there's the rest of the field.
Yeah, Clayton Carter lost a handful of spots there. I believe he lost maybe 5 or 6 or so. He got into his pit stall extremely gingerly, really trying to just be on the safe side there. But so that's the finish of the race off pit road. Let's see if we can't take a look at the current points standings this far into the season. We've had 2 races for drivers to score points in. Currently up atop the championship standings is Vincent Crow in the 83 car. Jake Sylvia currently in 2nd place. A couple notables there in 3rd through the 5th position. You got guys like Thomas George, Michael Krobach, Jeff Ward. Nice to see Adam Jersky poking his head up in there, and Brian Yazik. Kind of surprised myself to not see Scott Eckridge up into that top 10 mix already, but I'm sure, as always, it's only a matter of time, JR.
Yeah, for sure. Scott having some bad luck in the opening races. Definitely looking for a comeback here tonight at a place he won at in the first race here last year. So definitely good track for him. Cody Dempster, he's in 12th place, and we saw him have issues last week. He's also looking to kind of get some redemption here tonight and show everybody who should have won the race last week.
I'd like to take a moment really quick and thank today's race sponsor, Mars Properties. They offer out-of-this-world pricing on fully furnished vacation rental homes close to the ocean in New Bern, North Carolina. For more information, you can email marsproperties@gmail.com. And again, just like the logo, that's Mars with 2 S's, marsproperties@gmail.com. Lights are out atop the iRacing pace car. You can see the entire field now doubling up as they head down the backstretch as it runs right now. Cody Dempster on the inside, Scott Eckridge outside, Creighton Carter in 3rd, Ryan Rose in 4th, Angel Jamie in 5th, Chris Stouffer's 6th, Tyler Graff in 7th, Pete Baskins in 9th, and Woody Mahan in, Pete Baskins 8th, Woody Mahan 9th, Vincent Crow in 10th. iRacing pace car getting ready to make its hard left turn down pit road. Then it's going to give command of the field over to Cody Dempster. Number 24 car just recently took the lead a couple laps ago. We'll see how good a run Scott Eckridge can get on the outside, and how long as well does Cody wait to put his foot on the loud pedal, making drivers really wait that time through the restart zone. You can see just how much that's done to his lead right there. You can see the entire pack JR pretty much right on his bumper. Most of this field a lot more condensed than they are in this restart. Look at Scott Eckridge going around the outside, Mr. High, Wide, and Handsome.
Yeah, definitely. So everybody knows how their car felt during that last run. Scott knows how his was in traffic. He's wanting to get this lead early so he can fill his car out during this run, see how he needs to run the rest of this race, because that will be different how you drive this track out front as opposed behind traffic.
That time by, Scott Eckridge takes the lead over, so that's 1 bonus point for him. Cody Dempster in 2nd. Look at Angel Jamie really trying to make the most of his fresh tires. Kenny, I have to wonder, as a driver, knowing that Angel Jamie really started to fall through the field on the last set of tires, what are some things you try to change about your driving habits for this next run?
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're trying to conserve tire and learn from your mistakes, if you're running out of rubber there, you try to back up corner entry a little bit, not saw at the wheel so hard, try to be a lot more smoother with your movements, things like that, and just, less throttle time. You can almost go full throttle flat out all the way around this place on a new set of tires, but if you choose to let off the gas a lot more than your opposition, and also avoid, putting down the track really hard, things like that, it could save you some tire in the long run.
Angel Jamie looking around the outside of Scott Eckridge to see if he can't just take the lead. Scott's going to get loose off the bottom. Angel Jamie is going to lead this next lap at the stripe. That's a bonus point for him as well. Guys, how about this 83 car? Vincent Crow, he's looking to make it 3 wide on the outside right now. In the middle is the 89 car of Creighton Carter. Down in the bottom, Chris Stouffer getting a handful of opposite lock as they come off the corner.
Yeah, almost a bad situation there. They were 3 wide when that happened, but he did a nice job hanging on to it. And to your point, Austin, Vincent Crowe has done a fantastic job in the opening races this season. He's moved up in this race from 32nd place all the way up into, I guess he's going to be in 3rd place as they go across the line here.
Yeah, 3rd position, trying to hunt down Scott Ackridge. He's trying to beat on him right now. Had a ton of overspeed as they came off the corner. Crowe's going to start peeking around on the outside, trying to see if he can't go a little bit more to the outside to the right of Scott. Try to see if he can't put some clean air on the front end of that car. Of course, downforce the masking for all the different problems you can have for how a race car handles. And don't look now, but here comes Creighton Carden, the 89 car, on the outside of Cody Dempster in the 24 as they come off forward.
Yeah, we're starting to see a lot of guys try to make some moves, and a lot of them that are making these early moves to the guys that we saw fall back a little bit in the last run. So it'll be interesting if they adjust their driving style and are able to keep their cars in these better positions for a longer term. But right now, one of the guys, so when they made pit stops last time, a lot of these guys started typing in the iRacing chat what their tire wear was. One of the best at that was Scott Eckridge, and he's in 2nd place right now. So again, Austin, we'll just have to pay attention to these guys, see how they react throughout this run.
Yeah, don't look now, but how about last week's winner, Cosmin Ioannidis? 10th place, he's just cracked the top 10. Now back to 11th this last lap, but he came all the way up from 34th position on the grid. Of course, the qualifying, the grid order, I should say, for all the PGRL races. Of course, an inversion of the last week's finishing results. Then all the drivers showing up this week that weren't here last week, and then of course the 2 last defending champions. So if you win the week before, you're going to start plumb last of all the drivers that raced last week.
Yeah, and the thing that I like about Cosman, seeing him in these first 3 races, is last week I think kind of taught him a little bit. He spun in that race early and then came back and was able to win. So that taught him you do not have to fly through this field early. You can take your time, fill your car out, make sure you're in a good position throughout the whole race and slowly move forward. And that's what we're seeing him do here again tonight.
Yeah, for Cosman last week, it was pretty much the tale of 2 races for the first 20 laps or so. He was running well, just feeling out the car, and then he was involved in a wreck, completely not of his own doing. Spun down the grass on the inside of the track, up the track here. You see the 83 car. Vincent Crowe trying to go around the outside of the 70 car of Scott Eckridge. Looks like he's going to complete the pass on the outside. So move the 83 of Vincent Crowe up into 2nd. Of course, that's going to relegate Scott Eckridge back into 3rd. You got Cody Dempster, see if he can't draw a bead. Back to Cosman, though. The second part of the race for him was, back ascending through the field, and of course was in that 6 or 7 wide car battle there for the lead, and just got a little bit lucky with timing around there.
Yeah, absolutely, and you have to have that. So racing's not always about the fastest car winning. You have to have luck on your side, and we see that in multiple races throughout the year, especially here at PGRL, where things will play out and you will get a guy that'll win a race just because he was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, Cody Dempster doing a monkey see, monkey do. Follows Vincent Crowe around the outside of Scott Eckridge, so that's going to move the 24 car of Dempster into the 3rd position, relegate Scott Eckridge back into 4th, and just as soon as I say that, how about Will Farmer looking to see if he can't improve his standing there on the 70 car of Scott Eckridge. He's going to follow him into the corner for right now. I don't think he's going to make a move just yet, JR.
Yeah, the 19 car having a great race so far here tonight. Now, he came from the 35th starting position, and we've seen him be able to advance through the field in the previous races, but this is by far his best run of the season so far.
Yeah, that 19 car started in 35th today, so he's gained 30 positions already. And Kenny, every time I look at that 19 car, there's been a lot of drivers that have driven the 19 over the years, but I always think of Jeremy Mayfield first and foremost.
Oh, that's a pretty obscure one to think about. I actually think about Tony Raines making an attempt in the yellow sponsored number 19 car. Not many might know about that one, but Farmer's having a great job, or doing a great job. There's a few Farmers in the race, and both out there doing their best. Will C and William D. William D in 17th place at the moment, and guys, not seeing a whole lot of separation in the draft right now in the second run. I feel like drivers are a lot more keen to playing around with the draft the second time around.
Yeah, I really have to agree with you there, though. Kenny, I'll tell you what, that last time coming off of turn 4, there was 2 drivers that absolutely darted from the inside of the track all the way to the outside. Pete Baskins was one of them. I feel like that 17 car there, Alex Gretz, was the other. I tell you what, guys, Alex Gretz got a lot of speed in that car. He started off in the 29th position, all the way up right now into the 8th spot. He's gained a whopping 21 positions. Doesn't seem to be stopping anytime soon.
He definitely seems to have good speed in that car. I'm watching him on the bottom, though, through 1 and 2, going through those bumps, the car moving around and getting a little bit loose. He had to back out of it there, but now he goes to 3 and 4, and he immediately goes to the high side.
Yeah, look at Chris Stouffer going high, wide, and handsome around the 94 car, Cosmin Ioannidis. The 17 car of Alex Gretz kind of backing off, taking a little bit of a back seat right now to this battle, kind of just like a lion lurking in the weeds right now, seeing if he can't try and make up a position or kind of just size up his enemies, kind of sumo wrestling style.
Guys, we just had a huge contact off or on the front straightaway. You had Mark Herzog running into the back of William D. Farmer. After William got into the side of Kevin Bartelt, and I cannot believe the cars stayed straight. Actually didn't really even get sideways or even, but checked up the field back there around the middle pack around 20th place. And these cars seem to be acting a little bit differently with collisions at the moment. I don't think there's any damage model updates with these cars, but they just seem so solid at the moment. They're not really getting sideways or spun out very easily.
We're having a pretty solid two-wide battle for the lead. I've been watching this ever since the last time these two guys were in turn 4. Angel Jamie finally tracked down Vincent Crowe, snatched away the lead. He led last lap, this time by, it looks like Angel Jamie, this time by only 3/1000ths of a second. You can see that's the 4 car of Angel down the inside, the 83 car of Vincent Crowe up on the top. Those two trading the lead back and forth. It looks like Vincent Crowe finally going to back off for right now, but looking to make a strong charge around the outside in 3 and 4, JR.
Yeah, he's definitely trying to run that high side, get some momentum, maybe be able to swoop down low on the front straightaway, but this is around that time.
Oh, look at how sliding the floor got. Sorry, I figured he was going around for sure.
No, absolutely. These guys are moving around. I was just about to say that Angel Jamie, this is the time period during the last run where he started to fall back. He had kind of used his tires up. We said we wanted to kind of pay attention to that and see if he made adjustments.
Oh, huge wreck in turn 2, guys. Huge wreck in turn 2. Sorry about that, JR, but Alex Gretz just, he overcorrected and just absolutely killed the outside wall in turn 2.
Yeah,
boy, that was a good eye there, Kenny.
Yeah, we had just talked about him being so fast too, guys.
And on top of that, it looks like Brian Yazik was one driver potentially involved in that. He kind of snowplowed his way through the 17 car. But look at the impact. Just, JR, talk us through this a little bit, how he dives down low, probably aggressive, trying to stay on the throttle, maybe touch those bumps and got him a little bit loose. Also touched the apron.
Yeah, definitely. He went in a little bit higher and trying to do that high-end, low-out run. Probably would have worked if he was by himself, but he had those 2 cars in front of him, not just 1, but 2 cars that were kind of disturbing that air a little bit. And as he's turning down, the car just naturally got a little bit loose. And then, like you said, he ultimately kind of touched that transition from the banking to the apron, and the car just really went around. And we've seen in these next-gen cars, we've talked about it a lot, how hard they are to correct once they get sideways, and it's different at every track depending on what the banking is. This is one of those tracks that you just barely turn to the right and the car will immediately shoot toward that outside wall.
And there's a lot of innocent bystanders in that last track. You can see, looked like Woody Mahan grabbed a piece. Brian Yazik got a ginormous piece of that one. Most of the field, pretty much everybody though, they coming down pit road. So if we can follow this race off.
Yeah, so this is about, again, we've gone about 22 laps, which is about exactly how long you want to go. Oh, we have a collision on pit road, actually. A couple cars, one spun around. That's Joe Hassert, who got T-bone there. You see him, he's way in the back of the shot trying to get it spun around. But anyway, this is about the minimum amount of laps you want to go and have enough tires to the end. So everybody coming in to take their second set of tires, not counting what they started on. And looks like I think Vincent Crowe wins the race off of pit road. Joe Hassert here still trying to get things righted in the grass there.
So it looks like Crowe, Jamie, Eckridge, Crowe, Eckridge, Jamie for right now, then Dempster and Farmer. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We're going to be back in about 60 seconds, minute and a half. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Mars Properties Vacation Rentals 200 from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You're watching the Virtual Group Network. Austin Belkey, J.R. Shepard, Kenny Kibbe with you in the booth. Of course, our director, Ryan Seneker, in the production trailer. We're currently on lap 46 out of 134. This race has seen a whole lot of lead changes. Tyler Graff started up front. Currently, he's running quite a bit just outside the top 10 in 11th position. We've had Scott Eckridge lead some laps. Cody Dempster's been up there. Angel Jamie, Vincent Crow, lots of different guys up and around that top 4, especially so far 2 causes for cautions at the moment. So everybody lined up behind the iRacing pace car. Its lights are out. We're going to go back to green flag racing this time by, just waiting for it to make the hard left turn down pit road, and I'll be really interested to see just how soon Scott Eckridge fires. These drivers have the opportunity to fire as soon as the pace car is off the track out of turn number 4. Usually you'll see guys wait until they get to the restart zone. Scott Eckridge looking to do just that as soon as his front clip made it to the restart zone. He got his foot on the loud pedal. But guys, look at this restart here from Vincent Crow. Looks like Scott Eckridge might have missed a gear change in there because he's getting absolutely swamped. He's 3 wide as they head into turns 1 and 2. Up at the front, you've got Vincent Crow on the high side, Angel Jamie on the bottom.
Yeah, definitely. Once he got taken 3 wide, it kind of slows his momentum down, and that makes the inside and the outside lane the one to be in. The outside usually carries more momentum down that back straightaway, but we see Vincent Crow still being challenged by that lead.
Oh boy, Vincent Crow got really loose there in the center of the corner. He was forced to back out of the throttle. Angel Jamie's going to be the sole driver at the point. The first 2x2 battle behind him is that of Scott Eckridge on the inside, Vincent Crow on the outside. Shouldn't be too big a battle though for Vincent Crow. We saw him do the exact same move underneath the last green flag run, and sure enough, he's going to make the same thing happen again off of turn number 2. He's going to pass Scott Eckridge on the outside. Now watch out for this 19 car. William Farmer around the outside of Scott Eckridge as well, trying to look for him to go up into the 3rd position.
Yeah, continuing to move that 19 car forward. Like we said, up from, I believe, 35th starting position, now in the 3rd spot. He's looking to gain more, guys.
Up at the front of the field, Angel Jamie in the 4 car, Vincent Crow in the 83. Just behind those guys, battle for that 5th position. Christopher looking to go around the outside of the 24 car of Cody Dempster, side by side as they go down the backstretch. It looked like you could see there Cody Dempster really hung out to dry. You could see just how much momentum he lost with that 7 car. Christopher having the draft from that 70, Scott Eckridge just up ahead of him. Stouffer trying to see if he can't go around the outside of Eckridge this time as they go down the front stretch. We'll see if he can complete the pass as they go through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, definitely hanging tough on that outside. He's able to carry that momentum down the back straightaway. Scott Eckridge, he's going to be one of those guys that's going to be saving his tires. We've continued to see a lot of these guys go fast early in the run. Scott's going to be one of those guys that if we get this long run in, he will be the one going to the front toward the end.
Yeah, you can really tell the different driving characteristics of all these cars, Kenny, by just how aggressive they are, especially on these restarts. You can see guys like Scott Eckridge, a very long run kind of minded driver, taking his time right now, just minding his P's and Q's, making sure he has clean air, hitting his marks on the bottom. And these more aggressive drivers, like maybe a Angel Jamie, Vincent Crow, or even a 7 car Christopher, really aggressive right now, trying to get everything they can, hoping for more short runs.
Yeah, there's definitely a few different schools of thought on that, and some drivers are just better at one mentality than the other. And, you know, if the race keeps playing out like this, if we just continue to have the 20 to 25 lap green flag runs, the short run guys might be in the better position. But that's the beauty of these races. Strategy and things like that always are ever changing. So I think Eckridge is going to stick to his guns here and see where he settles in, and then get into a rhythm and move his way forward from where he's at.
Yeah, another one of those kind of long run-minded drivers is Thomas George, the current defending champion of the Pretty Good Racing League. You can see we're riding on board with him right now. This is the roof cam looking out over the front end of his car, just seeing if he can't duck right in behind there. Doug Roth in that 43 STP colored machine. Look at a big run there out of Roth. You see the 89 car, I believe that is Creighton Carter there. Just falling a little bit backwards down to that inside. You see a couple of drivers tucked in right there. Thomas George making another pass, going all the way down to the bottom in turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, definitely got a good gaggle of cars here, 2 wide racing. These guys are trying to sort it out, make sure that they're able to get through here cleanly, but you see guys going from the bottom to the top and from the top down to the bottom. A lot of movement here, guys.
Ooh,
Whoa,
Scott
big,
Eckridge actually, yeah, he got a touch from behind by Ionishu there, and boy, that was sketchy. I mean, great save by Eckridge there, and near collision again into turn 3, and Eckridge just really trying to regain his bearings here.
We've got another battle for the lead here, guys. Vincent Crowe challenging Angel Jamie down on the bottom. He's looking the inside of turns 1 and 2. We'll see if he has any help from behind. This is usually when that outside car has prevailed. Angel Jamie doing a really strong job on the high, so you can see just how much he was wiggling that car back and forth.
Yeah, and you know, we went green, I think, around lap 47. We're on lap 55. This is about the time when we've seen Angel Jamie start to move backwards, and that's when Vincent Crowe tried to make the attack during the last run. So he's going to continue to do that on this one. The only problem for Crowe is he also has Farmer behind him, which has been really fast, guys, throughout this whole race, and now Stouffer has joined this party.
Yeah, Will Farmer started in 35th position, the first car that wasn't here last week to start in this race today, lining up on the grid, so he's up a whopping 32 positions, currently riding around right now in that number 3 position. Angel Jamie on the point, then Vincent Crowe, and that number 19 car just tucked in behind. The battle you're watching on your screen right here, you can see that's the 98 car, Taylor Graff. He's the man who started on the pole. Just behind him, you've got Colton Salick on the outside, and the inside is Kazman Ionishu, last week's winner. And then just behind those two drivers on the bottom, Scott Eckridge. And how about there, Thomas George? I could have sworn, Kenny, he was nowhere even close to this battle just about 3 laps ago.
Yeah, he's been slowly but surely making his way up through the field. He popped into the top 15 a little bit ago, and he just keeps marching forward slowly but surely. And Jeff Ford, the other driver who had to start in the back, he's in 14th, so he's not doing too bad neither. These guys just trying to be, driving like the champions that they are, just slowly but surely making their way up through the field and being methodical about it, which is exactly the way that you would expect both of those drivers to approach it.
Side by side as they head down into turns 3 and 4. You've got the 6 car outside of the 7 machine. Battle you're looking at right there. Whoa, 1 car out in the outside wall. I think that's a 25 car, Brady Cure. No caution just yet, but it looks like that car is pretty hurt, JR.
Yeah, he definitely took a good lick there. You can see the right front fender with the damage on it, so he's going to be coming to pit road, trying to get that fixed, but probably going to be there for a little bit.
Another battle going on your screen. This is still for that P2 position. That's Vincent Crowe, the 83 up top, the 19 car. Oh, just barely sliding in there in the middle between those 2 cars. That's Will Farmer. Ryan, I'd like to see, this battle really going on hot and heavy up at the front. Another one going on just a little bit further back in the field. Colton Salick right now on the inside of the 98 car, Tyler Graff. A big battle. This is really where the pack starts to begin, JR.
Yeah, it is, and it's so easy to make contact when guys are this close together.
Not quite sure what the cause is for, but yellow flag obviously flying in the air here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Sorry, JR.
No, you're okay. Also, we'll have to see what the caution was for here, see if we can get a replay or not.
So it's Creighton Carter and Kevin Bartelt got together on the backstretch coming out of turn 2. And that's what brought out the yellow. We'll see if we can get a replay going. It's an interesting case because it looked like Creighton was really fighting that car, trying to keep it low because he saw the 26 had a run. And I don't think they actually touched to send the 89 around, but ended up taking them both out. So that's the previous caution that we're looking at right there. Here we go. So this is after it just started, but Creighton Carter got a little bit loose I think he was trying to keep the car away from the 26, and the 26 was also probably packing air on his right rear, and it just sent him around. And JR, that's a kind of an unsettling feeling when you're trying to keep your car down and you see a car in your peripheral getting a run on you on the outside, and you can't tell if they're going to squeeze their nose in there or not.
Yeah, and it's extremely difficult. I was just about to touch on that before the caution came out. At a track like this, you're driving your line because you expect to be clear coming off the corner, and then all of a sudden a guy gets a huge run and is able to just get his nose to the outside of you, and you're trying to check up and not get into him. but you're carrying so much speed that cars naturally want to drift out toward that outside wall, and then you see contact like we saw here. It's extremely easy for that to happen. Nobody really did anything wrong. It's just the closing rates, the different speeds, and the aero that affects these cars as they exit the corners.
I wonder who that Matt Black car was trying to take evasive action and ended up finding the inside retaining wall there. That was a hard look for that car. Otherwise, great job by the rest of the field to avoid that recent caution there. Kenny, it looked like a pretty split decision there as to whether or not these drivers are going to come down pit road. A majority of the top 5 went down pit road. Angel Jamie went down pit road, but then he just went straight through. He didn't stop in his box or anything like that, so probably went down pit road. Thought better of it, wanted to try and regain any of the track position he would have lost by pitting.
Yeah, it looks like Will Farmer is going to be the first driver off of pit lane with new tires. I'm slightly surprised. I mean, this is just under kind of the window of that amount of time that you want to spend on a set of tires before you spend the next set. But I actually expected more drivers to come down pit road. Will Farmer will settle into 21st spot. So over half of the field, well, about half and half actually with the field. You gotta get used to these really large fields in PGRL, but about half the field stayed out, half the field came in. So this will be an interesting run and could really fall into the hands of those drivers who pitted if we can get a decently long green flag run here.
Yeah, we'll see if anything like that happens. It looks like the lights are still on atop the iRacing pace car, so we are going to take a quick break and be right back after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head to head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the Mars Properties Vacation Rentals 200. You're watching the Virtual Group Network. We're currently on lap 64 of 134. Vincent Crowe currently your leader, Chris Stouffer in second, Cody Dempster third, Kazmin Ioannishiu in fourth, Colton Salick rounds out your top 5. iRacing pace car getting ready to make a hard left turn down pit road and give command of the field over to Vincent Crowe, number 83. Going to do that just now. We'll see how long it takes for Vincent to fire off here coming out of turn 4. He does it pretty early, and look at the run that the 24 car of Cody Dempster is going to get off of 4. It's going to leave the 7 car. Chris Stouffer pretty much sleeping right now behind the wheel. Kazmin Ioannishiu looking up and down all around to see if he can't quite make his way around there. They've got the 51 car just tucked in behind. That's Ron Hart. How about Doug Roth? High, wide, and handsome. Finally broke his way into the top 10.
Yeah, absolutely. Great looking car he's running this season, and he's definitely running that high line early here. He goes back to the high side through 3 and 4, staying away from that middle.
That time by the stripe, still going to be Vincent Crowe. Cody Dempster in second. Move Kazmin Ioannishiu into the third position. Again, he was last week's winner out in Fontana. No doubt he's been California dreaming of those California girls all week ever since then. Looking to park that thing in victory lane for the second week in a row. Cody Dempster getting all the way up to the rear end of Vincent Crowe, making a look down to the inside. That was barely just not a dive bomb there, Kenny.
Yeah, some of these drivers up front really aggressive on these restarts. Ooh, we got 3 wide just outside the top 5 with Stouffer. Doug Roth kind of making some headway here in the middle of the race. Ooh, a potential for 4 wide maybe off of turn 2. This is a mess.
That was very sketchy. Battle for the lead all the way up at the front. They're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they head to turn number 3. Vincent Crow on the top, Cody Dempster in the middle, Cosmin Ioannidis on the bottom. Cosmin had, contact between the 2 drivers going for the lead up top.
Yeah, definitely. Everybody getting aggressive now. We're not even halfway in this race.
Ioannidis put his car in the grass, almost spun out.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I've seen multiple guys do that and touch that grass. These cars do not like that, obviously, but not even that. It's just going from the apron back onto the front stretch can really upset these next-gen cars.
JR, does the car really get that unsettled from just barely? I mean, he barely nipped the grass there on the front stretch. Just we have a battle for the lead right now. That's the Cody Dempster car going to the inside of the 83 car, Vincent Crow.
Yeah, and Austin, to your point, when you touch the grass, if you hit it at a straight angle, it's not going to affect it too much, but they're going through the tri-oval there, and the front stretch that is a D-shaped oval, and when they touch that grass with that wheel turned, it does upset the car and it will move it around, and these cars are very easy to wreck once they get out of shape.
That's great to know for a lot of these guys really trying to cut that apron there, cut the track. Obviously, the shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, so you get a lot of drivers, as the Duke boys would put it, straightened in the curves. That's a 24 car. Cody Dempster up at the point. You see the Cosmin Ioannidis machine right now in 3rd position. He's down on the inside of Vincent Crow, currently in the 2nd position, and Colton Salick in the number 91 car. I wonder if Colton's maybe thinking about putting it 3 wide, Kenny.
Yeah, and I wonder if the aggression level had picked up because we just ended our stage. Remember, we have stage racing in PGRL now this year. The Vincent Crow actually won that stage with Cosmin Ioannidis was on the apron at that time, and he was trying to get 2nd place. Cody Dempster was in there, Colton Salick, Ron Hart, Jason Galvin got some stage points in there, and it was a 3 wide battle behind them for the final stage points with Jeff Ward, Doug Roth, Chris Stouffer was in there, and I think Brian Yazik picked up the final stage point.
That's incredible for the 55 car, Brian Yazik, to have been in that 2nd caution earlier today. Heavy damage on the front end of that car looked like, and then recover to inside the top 10. Getting some valuable stage points. Thank you, as always, Kenny, for keeping us abreast of those stage points. It's always so hard to tell in these races. When it gets so good, they have to think about also the fact that these drivers have an opportunity to go out there and what is, at the end of the day, a bunch of free positions for just running inside the top 10.
Yeah, and it really makes more sense now. We weren't really paying attention to what the lap count was, but when that caution came out, we saw about half the field stay out and half of them pit. The side that pitted is probably more looking toward trying to win this race, where the guys that stayed out were really going for those stage points. Now, it'll all depend on where the cautions lie, who has the advantage, but that had to be their thinking there.
My goodness, you might look at what's on your screen right now and assume we're at some sort of a plate track like a Daytona, a Talladega, or the New Atlanta. You hate to see it, but it looks like these guys, JR, are racing at a restrictor plate race right now. But no, this is a 1.5 miles. There's no such thing as a restrictor plate on these cars at the moment.
Yeah, there's not, but yeah, these guys are racing that way, and it always seems like in these cars, in the early laps on a track like Las Vegas, it's hard to get away from each other. It takes 15, 20 laps before tires start to wear, and you start to see some guys go forward and some guys go backwards.
And there is a yellow flag somewhere out on the speedway. Hard to tell what the cause was.
Yeah, Matthew Wheeler wrecked off of turn 4, and again, it's another one of those cases of a car overcorrecting into the outside of the fence and ended up taking out a few other cars with him. Take a look here. It's the pink car there, the purple car, and he takes out Doug Roth and one other driver at least involved in that. But it looks like these cars still very, very twitchy, JR, and just so easy to overcorrect. I mean, I've explained it this way from the driver's seat. This is one of the few cars on iRacing that I still grip the wheel really hard, and it's for reasons like this.
Yeah, it's very, very tricky with these rack and pinion steerings, how they react, especially when you get it sideways in a higher bank corner. Just the smallest adjustment on that wheel to try to catch the car, and it can really throw you into the outside wall. And one thing that we don't talk about week to week is that these guys do have the adjustment. Even though these are fixed setups, they do have the adjustment of changing their steering ratio. So depending on what steering ratio you run, that can make that situation worse as well.
So a bunch of cars now diving down onto pit road. And guys, Kenny, I think this is going to be a situation where if you didn't pit under the last caution, you'd better come this time by. And if you pit before, you're sure as heck going to stay out for now.
Well, it does look like it's still a mixed bag. There's about 4 drivers I'm seeing that are staying out again, that being Brian Yazek, Michael Krobach, Woody Mahan, and I think that's actually it, is those 3 that pitted way back on lap 44. Yeah, again, about half the field, maybe a little bit more than that, coming down pit road once again. So the further we get into this race, the more of a mixed bag it becomes.
Looks like the race off pit road this time by again to be won by Cosmin Ioannidis. He will likely line up about maybe 20th, I'm going to say, given how many cars stayed out. Based on that, we're going to take a quick break and be right back after these commercials.
This is your chance to get behind the wheel. The opportunity to race just like the pros. From the grassroots levels, where we all got our start, to the most popular race cars on the planet. From the fairgrounds of Nashville to the high banks of Daytona, to tracks that will never be forgotten. Realistic driving, intense competition, all from the comfort of your own home. This is the ultimate motorsports simulation. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to the Mars Properties Vacation Rentals 200 from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You're watching the Virtual Grip Network. We're on lap 77 out of 134. Mars Properties offers out-of-this-world pricing on fully furnished vacation rental homes close to the ocean in New Bern, North Carolina. For more information, you can email marsproperties@gmail.com. Again, 2 S's, just like you see the logo, Mars Properties @gmail.com. Lights finally out atop the iRacing pace car, and if you see yourself on a Friday or Saturday night thinking, man, I wish I had something to look at, something entertaining. On Friday, in a couple weeks here, you can join legendary hosts Bill Soupzon, DJ Clark, and Sean Ambrose every Friday night at 8:10 p.m. Eastern Time for live coverage of the Skinner Creek Super Late Model Series. It's an all-new series that's going to feature the Super Late Model stock cars racing 200 laps on short tracks all across the United States of America. That new season begins March 24th. Seriously, highly recommend you guys go check it out. For an entire schedule of everything on the Virtual Grip Network, you can go to virtualgrip.net, and for more information about the Bootleg Racing League, you can visit bootlegracingleague.com. At the front end of the field, it's the one and only number 55 car there with Brian Yazik, supporting, of course, a family-owned Yaz's Sandwich Shop. They're looking to open their doors coming this summer. iRacing pace car peels down pit road. Brian waits absolutely no time at all before planting his right foot on the loud pedal. He's going to rock it away from the field. He's got the 70 car of Scott Eckridge tucked in behind. If you want to see a who's who, the everybody of everybody, the most popular, fastest guys of last season, look no further here than the top three going on. You got Brian Yazik, Scott Eckridge in second, Michael Krobach in the third position. How about Cy Ferris, the 44 car, in fourth right now?
Yeah, doing a great job. Haven't talked about him a whole lot in this race so far, but he's making that outside work on this restart. Good to see the 55 and that Yaz's Sandwich Shop car back out front. We saw a lot of that at the end of last season.
Yeah, we certainly did. The 55 car came on really strong towards the end of the season 2, especially in the beginning of season 3, but just not quite hot enough. Wasn't able to quite hold a candle to that of Thomas George, especially in the last couple races. You see the 70 car of Scott Eckridge looking down to the inside of the 55 of Brian Yazik. Going to try to clear himself as they head into turn 3. Not quite going to do it until the exit of 3. Now into turn 4. Boy, the 55 car really back out of it. He's going to get swamped by a couple of drivers. It looks like he's going to be 5th before they enter turn 1.
Yeah, definitely lost a lot of momentum when he had to back out of it, and unfortunately for him, it was on the long portion of the straightaway, the front stretch there, losing a ton of spot.
You can see now the number 6 car of Thomas George, last season's champion, looking down to the inside of Brian Yazik.
Yeah, and you know, guys, we've seen a lot of accidents or things that should have created an accident but didn't, and kind of put guys in some bad situations. Because of that, after this last caution, we see guys staying out like Scott Eckridge, Brian Yazik, Thomas George, these guys, Michael Krobach even, from last season that we saw run so well. These guys trying to stay out front, get some clean air, and stay away from all that action that's been occurring.
Guys, how about this? We've got about 50 laps to go. I'm seeing a lot of drivers right now up and in and around the top 10. 2 drivers we haven't talked about all day. The first one, the 71 car of Adam Jierski. He's right now running about, I think, the 8th or 9th position. How about the 86 car, Isaiah Dupre? Every time we get the opportunity to talk to Isaiah, he really always just sounds like a great dude, just a cool, really chill kind of guy. So love to see that 86 car up, especially near the top 10, up near the front of the field.
Yeah, and we're seeing a calmer restart, I think, at this point. Guys not being as aggressive as what they were before this last caution. We do have some from too wide racing, but guys giving each other plenty of room through that corner, making sure that they're not upsetting each other's cars, affecting that air around the cars as they come in and out of the corners.
Yeah, I'm really keeping an eye on here, JR. The first drivers that ended up coming down pit road, the guys that were at the front of the field in the last run, and now still trying to make their way through the field right now. Kazmin Ioannidis, the 94 car, right now he looks to be in about 8th position, maybe 6th or so. And then, of course, the just had me off the screen right now. Vincent Crow in the 83, sorry.
Yeah, definitely have some guys that pitted that last time starting to come back through the field. Vincent Crow's obviously one of them that we've seen fast, like we said, in all 3 races. Doing it again in this race. So yeah, we've got guys that are going to be coming through this field. Some of those guys have been really aggressive in the first couple of races, so it'll be interesting to see if they're a little bit more patient as they come through this field. We see Cody Dempster behind that 3 wide situation right now on the front straightaway, so he's definitely trying to make his way through, but do it patiently, almost getting contact there from Isaiah Dupre.
Yeah, the reason I couldn't find that 83 car Vincent Crow is because I was right now clicked viewing the 55 car Brian Yazik. He's been dropping like a rock through the field right now, all the way down at about 22nd, 23rd position, letting a lot of guys go on the inside of him. So that car obviously not quite to his handling. How about this though, guys? The number 68 car, Mike Rasmus, up towards the front end of the field. We haven't talked about him up broadcast either.
No, we've not, and definitely the entire year last year, he was the guy that we looked at as being Mr. Consistency. We see actually saw a car get into the outside wall off of turn 2. We stayed green. Somebody hit the wall pretty hard, though. Didn't spin, so we'll see a car that will be coming to pit road for sure. But, yep, there's the caution, guys.
Oh, Jerry, you saw this wreck out of the corner of your eye. When we get this replay going here on the screen to see the cause for caution, talk me through this one.
Yeah, this was actually a separate one. It may have been caused from the one that I saw, but definitely Isaiah moving up the track there, and I can't tell exactly which car he gets into.
Like that was a 22 car. I've seen it a couple times. Really hard to tell though from that angle.
Okay, that was Creighton Carter. We're being told that got squeezed into the wall there, but yeah, it looks to me we're seeing it just a little bit late, but either Isaiah got a little bit loose or might have even gotten some help. Kind of chased it up the racetrack and unfortunately just had a car to his outside there, Creighton Carter. And I don't know how much damage Creighton got out of that, but definitely the 89 of Dupre has major right front damage.
Oh, we're getting told that Carter went up and Harnish.
Yeah,
okay,
a lot of these
Harnish, purple car. Sorry.
Yeah, Creighton Carter and Isaiah Dupre and a few others have very, very similar paint schemes, so it's a easy mistake to make. But we do have pit strategy going on right now, and again, it's pretty split. Looks like from about looks like the first car that'll have new tires will be Scott Eckrich in 13th. He'll come out, lead the race off of pit road with Jake Sylvia and Will Farmer Jr. there behind him. But Safe Ferries is going to assume the lead after pitting on lap 61. So he will now have the oldest tires in the field. Everybody else back to 11th place or 12th place, pitted on lap 75. And beyond that, everybody else pitted on lap 88. So really getting some mixed strategies here.
Yeah, I was looking at the 44 car, Safe Ferries. He motioned his way to go down pit road just like everybody else, and just before the commitment box, decided to turn that steering wheel to the right and avoid pit road. It looks like Cosmin Ioannidis, though, floating down on the apron. It looks like he's going to stay out this time by. We're going to take a quick commercial break and be right back after this.
This is the world's premier online racing simulation. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat from your home computer with the most realistic online motorsports experience you'll find anywhere. Race virtually in the world's biggest events with officially licensed series, cars, and tracks. From the high banks of Daytona to the blistering speeds of Indianapolis, the dirt of Eldora to the world's most legendary road courses. It's all here, and with more than 180,000 people just like you already driving, you'll always have someone to race. Ready to get behind the wheel? Sign up at iRacing.com to get started.
Welcome you to the Chuckles. I'm in danger. 250 can possibly go to the outside. He does go to the outside of Ricky Harden. Tries a slide draft him. Harden goes up the track. Now back down to the bottom. Gets a huge push from Tommy Ryan at the start finish. It's going to be Thomas George.
Running the high line, trying to make that
got
pass.
loose off turn 4.
In the grass goes the 6 car, and they were side by side, 2 by 2 here.
Yeah, Scott Eckler winning the last race of the season and the championship.
Jet Ford definitely getting the championship for season 2.
Give it up for Thomas George, winning the race and the championship. George overshoots the corner. Scott puts that car just where he needs to on the middle. It's going to be a drag race through the kick. Welcome back to Sin City. We're here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the Mars Properties Vacation Rentals 200. Mars Properties offers out-of-this-world pricing on fully furnished vacation rental homes close to the ocean in New Bern, North Carolina. For more information, you can email them at marsproperties@gmail.com. We're here on lap 91 of 134, fastly approaching in on about 40 laps to go in this race. It's been a hot and heavy one so far. We've had a handful of different leaders leaders. Lots of comers and goers down pit road, lots of mixed strategies, huge mixed bag on which drivers elect to come in, which drivers elect to stay out. We've had a lot of different leaders and about 5 or 6 different cautions so far. Currently, your top 5, Cy Ferris, Colton Salick, Cosmin Ionishu, Vincent Crowe, Ron Hart. Round out the top 5, 6th to 10th, Cody Dempster, Jeff Ward, Jason Galvin, Shane Parrish, and Angel Jamie. In 10th, iRacing pace car pulls down pit road for the first time today. The leader has elected to start on the outside. You see Cy Ferris put his foot on the love pedal. He starts to jump away from the rest of the field. Caught most of them sleeping for right now, it looks like, as they head down into turns 1 and 2. Vincent Crowe on the high side wouldn't be too surprised if he were to be the driver in second place as they head down the back.
Yeah, definitely that outside is very good up off of turn 2, especially with those bumps. We see Angel Jamie making a big move down the back straightaway, going 3 wide in the turn 3.
Man, look at that car.
We got a car spinning on the
going all the way down to the inside. Sorry, Kenny.
big wreck into turn 3, guys. Woody Mahan got put into a slide and he almost saved it, but again, overcorrected and sent himself flying into the outside fence, collecting the in and out car of Mark Herzog and a couple others as well. Boy, I thought that Woody had that car saved. We'll take a look at the replay, but he got clipped. He came across the nose of Mark Herzog. This is on the restart. The wreck doesn't happen until turn 3, but had a few cars involved. William Farmer. There's when the wreck actually happens, when Woody Mahan comes across. I'd like to bring this replay back just a little bit down the back stretch, and you'll get to see how this thing all starts. You see how long there that Woody Mahan was into a slide. I think Mahan probably thought he was clear and came down trying to take that bottom line, and Mark Herzog was there, no fault of him. And Mahan goes for this long slide, and I really thought he was going to save it, but I bet you the apron probably didn't help him, and ended up shooting him back across the track. Unfortunate situation for Woody there.
Well, it's so hard, and you guys can touch to this too. It's so hard when you've got the wheel cranked that hard to the right to keep the car saved. As soon as it starts to pivot back to the right, you practically have to more than straighten the wheel back out to the left in order to save that car, to prevent it from basically nosing right into the wall. And you have to go from maybe about 6, maybe like 3 o'clock on your steering wheel back to 9 o'clock. In like a split second there, and maybe it might even be more like a 6 o'clock. I mean, you have to put a lot of wheel into these cars when they're that sideways to save them.
You know, one technique that I've found actually seems to be kind of helpful in these cars is like a combination of brake and gas kind of at the same time. Seems to really want to bring the front end back around, but it's not a end-all, save-all kind of situation. These cars are still very, very difficult to save, especially for the drivers that just pitted on fresh tires, on a fresh restart there. The cars are going to be pretty twitchy, and then Woody was in dirty air as well. That wasn't helping.
So with the wave of the yellow flag here, once again, it doesn't look like a whole lot of cars are going to come down pit road at Kenny. So at this point, your bed's made for now. If you didn't come down pit road 2 laps ago, you're not going to come down right here. So if that's the case, I guess we'll take a quick commercial break. We're going back. Why don't you folks at home go to the fridge, maybe grab a snack, how about a couple of chips, maybe take the edge off of those midnight munchies.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway for the Mars Properties Vacation Rentals 200. We're currently on lap 96 out of 134. iRacing pace car about to make the left turn down pit road. Vincent Crowe, your leader, after that short, about 2-lap battle there for the lead under the most recent green flag run. Vincent Crowe does a little bit of a quick jaunt to the left and then puts his foot on the gas pedal. Starts to rocket away from Safe Ferris in the 44 car. Safe getting a big push, though, from the car behind the 91 machine of Colton Salick. And up on the top line, you can see Cody Dempster thinking about giving a push to that 94 car, Cosmin Ioanniscu. Not quite able to get all the way up to the back of him. Cosmin thinking about putting a shot there to the 91.
Yeah, definitely. He's been one of the guys that we've seen be a little bit aggressive during this race. He's looking to move forward, try to get back up front.
You can see Cosmin looking there down to the inside of the 91 car, Colton Salick. Looks like Cody Dempster starting to follow him as well. And guys, how about that 9 car of Jeff Ward all the way up to the top of the racetrack? Clears himself of that 3-wide situation behind. You still got the 51 car of Ron Hart, Angel Jamie down to the inside of that mess.
Yeah, definitely Jeff Ward, one of the most recent champions, one of the last 2 most recent champions. So he's always starting in the back in every race this season. Usually see him up front about halfway through this race, but it's taking him a little bit longer this time, but he is now up into that 6th position, guys.
Yeah, I feel like, though, Kenny, too, the reason we haven't seen Jeff Ward all the way up front to this point in races, we've had a lot of short runs, and Jeff's one of those guys who just kind of, JR coined it, Jeff Warding the race, really takes his time, manages his tire wear.
Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few drivers in the field that are, more of a long run kind of driver mentality that have not really been able to showcase that skill set tonight because we've not really had any runs longer than about 20 to 25 laps. So they've had to kind of adapt and really up their aggression on the restarts. And we're getting to the point where if we have another caution beyond this, our longest possible run will only be about 30 laps or less. So this could potentially be a long run. We'll see how it plays out, but beyond this point, we could just have short runs to the finish, which would really make some drivers adapt, maybe drive the way that they wouldn't necessarily plan to.
Well, big wiggle there out of the 44 car of Safe Ferris. You got the 42 car as well. Jason Galvin down on the bottom. How about High, Wide, and Handsome, the 18 car, Jake Sylvia, as they come off a turn 2. Big wiggle there out of Angel Jamie as well. These cars starting to handle quite adversely for these drivers, JR.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, Angel Jamie almost getting in the back of Safe Ferries. That's one thing that we haven't talked a lot about, but when you get the cars bunched up, you get guys entering the corner at different speed. Very easy for contact to be made. He had to check up there. It's going to cost him a couple spots.
Up at the front of this field, still Vincent Crowe, then Cosmin Ioanniscu about 0.3 of a second back. Colton Salick in 3rd, Cody Dempster 4th, Jeff Ward right now in the 5th position. All the way up towards the front there. This is a battle. This is Cody Dempster on the inside of Cosmin Ioanniscu. This is for that 2nd position here.
And Vincent Crow building up a little bit of a gap to the rest of the field, but I expect at some point for the rest of the cars behind him to kind of catch up. They're all in a line down the straightaway, but they're still choosing to really fan out throughout the corners here.
Lots of guys going in different lanes, trying to look for that clean air on the front end of these cars, no doubt. And these guys, obviously, all night they've been kind of having to cope with the fact that these cars handle in a pack with a bunch of turbulent air much different today than how they've handled for the past, maybe 6 months or so. So lots of these drivers having to adapt and overcome on the fly tonight. So, no wonder we see a lot of these drivers really putting themselves in some pretty hairy situations when maybe a week ago it would have been nothing major.
Yeah, definitely a lot of learning here tonight with that update, man. You see Angel Jamie once again getting very close to Safe Ferries going into turn 3, almost contact. Kind of opened the door for the 43 there, who wisely backed out of it. It could have been bad with a 3-wide exit there.
Look at Angel Jimmy, continues to take some really aggressive looks and moves all the way in and around these cars. You got Brian Yazik just behind him in that 55 machine. Yazik trying to see if he can't make a look down low. Thinks better of it. Doesn't quite have the overspeed in order to try and get that move done. Angel Jimmy now trying to duck down to the inside of Safe Ferris as they come off of turn 4.
Yeah, and Yazik, he's back on the same cycle of tires as everybody else, so he's looking to move himself back up front. We know that he always has speed, just kind of got off cycle in that last run, probably to get some points for leading the race. But now that he's back on that same cycle, guys, he's always got speed looking to move forward.
Kenny, I'm kind of curious why a lot of these drivers continue to see if they can't make moves down to the inside, especially in turn 2. I see Angel Jamie continues to go down to the inside to try and see if he can't gain some positions, but it looks like you have to be so phenomenal down on the inside to get that move done, and the guy on top just has to get through even mediocre, and he's really able to hold that guy on the inside off.
Well, the thing is, on the bottom, if you can really hit your marks, you can make up ground down there. But the top side is pretty good, especially if the majority of the cars want to run up there and give you a little bit of drafting help down the straightaway. You might see kind of a freight train effect. But one move that, like what Scott Eckrich is pulling right now on the 42 car, is he actually does kind of an over-under move and nearly completes the pass down into the next corner, and then you overdrive just a little bit into the next turn, and that's a good way to make a bottom feeder type pass here at Las Vegas. You get that pass started on exit and carry it down into the entry of the next corner. But really, at this point, on a 1.5 mile track, it's all about running where other cars are not. So if that means running the bottom because guys in front of you are running the top, that's what you do.
Well, Kenny, you touched on this a little bit when we were watching the Truck Series race on Friday night. You said, I don't know how he can do it, but Kyle Busch does a phenomenal job of overdriving the entry of a corner and drifting up just enough in front of the guy he just passed to take all the air off his car. And Kyle did that going into turn 1 and wisely avoided just maybe the bottom lane in turn 2 just enough to where he was able to get a phenomenal run out of there and absolutely take the lead over, I think, Kaz Grala at the time.
Yeah, that was kind of a 1.5 mile type slide job, if you will. But you're still watching Eckrich here on screens. We have another caution. Eckrich he made a bottom pass and then a pass on top right after that, just doing anything he possibly can. But it looks like, we talked about him a little bit earlier, getting into some situations. Angel Jamie actually had some contact, but actually was not the cause of caution. I'm not sure what it was.
Yeah, maybe Branch as well. He's pretty far off the pace. 10 seconds or so. Having some technical difficulties here with the replay machine. Should we replay the cause for caution?
You do see smoke up ahead there of a car out of shot. Ooh, and multiple drivers.
Car. Yeah, a couple guys being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Look like if I had to guess, guys, and maybe Kenny, replay might show up better than mine, but it looked like there the 33 car of Terry Marinero got really sideways coming off the corner and wasn't quite able to lock it down before all those cars came flying at him.
So he actually he got loose off of turn 4. This actually started way before. Yeah, as we back it up there, he got loose in the middle of 3 and 4, came down the track, and none other than Mark Herzog was right there to spin him, but man, he almost had it saved, but then another car passing by just collected him and collected multiple drivers there. But yeah, Marinero just got really loose in the middle of 3 and 4, and that's kind of what set all of that off.
And that's got to be, I think my count right now for Mark Herzog involved in a caution where he had basically a split second of a chance to avoid it. I think it's 3 right now for Mark. So maybe right now it looks like he's kind of taking that bad luck train that Kevin Bartelt might have had last season. So you hate to see that for Mark Herzog. Really, it kind of just minding his own business.
I say he's got a tough front end. He's had multiple impacts that front end, and he doesn't really seem to be that affected. He's still on the lead lap. As you see the race for off of pit lane there. I believe that was Vincent Crow will win the race off, and the 94 car ends up 3rd, and I think Colton Salick ends up 3rd place off. So 83, 94, 91.
Cody Dempster got off pit road. I think he should have been 2nd, but he's letting the entire field by. He might have been speeding on pit road, and he just got himself an end-of-line penalty. So you hate to see that for the driver of the 24 car, Cody Dempster. But while he's forced to give away all those positions, we're going to go ahead and give away some of our broadcast slot to these commercials. We'll be right back.
This is your chance to get behind the wheel. The opportunity to race just like the pros. From the grassroots levels, where we all got our start, to the most popular race cars on the planet. From the fairgrounds of Nashville to the high banks of Daytona, to tracks that will never be forgotten. Realistic driving, intense competition, all from the comfort of your own home. This is the ultimate motorsports simulation. This is iRacing. This is the world's premier online racing simulation. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat from your home computer with the most realistic online motorsports experience you'll find anywhere. Race virtually in the world's biggest events with officially licensed series, cars, and tracks. From the high banks of Daytona to the blistering speeds of Indianapolis, the dirt of Eldora to the world's most legendary road courses. It's all here, and with more than 180,000 people just like you already driving, you'll always have someone to race. Ready to get behind the wheel? Sign up at iRacing.com to get started.
Welcome back to the Mars Properties Vacation Rentals 200 from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You're watching the Virtual Group Network. Austin Belke, J.R. Shepard, Kenny Kibbe in the booth with you. Director Ryan Seneker in the production trailer. We're on lap 114 out of 134. Currently your leader is the one and only Vincent Crone, the 83 car. He's got Cosmin Ioannidis lining up to his inside. In third, currently Colton Salick, Scott Eckrich in fourth. Mr. Consistency, Mike Rasmus rounds out your top 5. iRacing pace car gets ready to make the hard left turn down pit road. We'll see how long this time Vincent wants to wait before he puts his foot on the gas. He'll wait about midway through the restart zone that time. He's got a pretty sizable lead right now over Cosmin on the inside. Scott Eckrich on the outside. Watch out for Colton Salick trying to make it 3 wide down low. Kind of reminiscent of Joey Logano at Auto Club in about 2013. and all of a sudden another caution. Well, that's a big one.
Big wreck.
Oh yeah, that was down into the entry of turn 1.
Jamie?
Looked like
Maybe Woody Mahan?
yeah. Well, Jamie was checked up, and he ended up kind of sideswiping the wall. Was just really loose. Sideswiped the wall and got into Aiden Gretz, and that set off a huge chain reaction there. You see Mark Herzog involved again, and a few other cars. The 26 car, Kevin Bartelt.
Hate to see that for him.
I'd like to maybe bring this back on to like the initial start. I'm almost wondering if something like a checkup. Yes, so there was a checkup right on the start that got Jamie kind of out of line, and then he got blocked after that and just kind of lost it on his own afterwards. You take a look. There's Jamie. You see, at first there's a checkup, bang, and then he goes to the outside and gets a block thrown on him right here, and it just kind of, he never recovers after that point.
Man, talk about a chain reaction there. That was a 4-car bouncing off the wall into Mahan, and then bouncing off Mahan into the wall, and then bouncing off the wall, and I feel like, oh, Harnish instead. Yeah, Harnish instead of Mahan. That was it's quite the ping pong ball. Was number 4 car of Angel Jamie there.
Yeah, and JR, when on these late restarts, you're obviously trying to, go wherever the momentum is, and sometimes it's tempting to sneak into that kind of narrow outside lane, but in a D-shaped oval or even a quad oval, sometimes that really narrows up. The driver in front's just not expecting it.
Yeah, we touched on it in the opening show here that on these restarts, every driver's going to be tempted to go for every single opening that is in front of them, because they see it as an opportunity. They see it as the best chance to try to get in a position to make a lot of positions up in a short amount of time. So drivers are going to go for that, but like you said, Kenny, on the exit of this D-shaped front stretch here, it closes up in a hurry, and if you do not get yourself in a good position before that, it is extremely hard to try to avoid the contact once it's about to take place. It's not like you can just slam on the brakes and avoid what's happening. Things happen quickly, and the cars just don't stop that fast.
Bootleg Racing League has launched its own broadcasting network aimed at giving up-and-coming commentators a place to get their feet wet in the world of sim racing broadcasting. BRL currently runs 10 weekly series that are not broadcasted by the Virtual Group Network. VGN director and BRL TV's producer/director Ryan Seneker is going to choose a couple different series each week to broadcast live with 2 or more other volunteer commentators. Current VGN commentators and directors will occasionally show up for these live events to give support and offer guidance. If you've ever wondered if you have what it takes to commentate live races, this is your chance to get some experience in without any pressure whatsoever. Just show up and talk. If you're interested in getting in on the fun, visit bootlegracingleague.com to find out how. You can also message a bunch of the guys over at VGN, Ryan Seneker, namely London, to see if you can have yourself an opportunity to be one of those guys up in the booth and get to do what Kenny, JR, and I do every week. And of course, it's nothing on the line. If you show up and you suck, it is what it is. If you show up and you're good, you might get some phone calls coming your way. As it doesn't look like too many comers and goers this time by in Kenya. You mentioned a lot of guys taking their last set of tires. I feel like anymore, if you're these guys in the top 10, maybe even top 15, your bed right now is pretty much made. If you've stayed out this far, there's not really anything less than a caution that includes you that's going to bring you down pit road.
Yeah, I mean, everybody last pitted on lap 111, so everybody's even on tires, and some have taken their final set. Quite a few drivers have. There's some that still have one set left in the pits, but I mean, you're giving up so much track position and also kind of putting yourself into the thick of where the cautions are happening if you do decide to pit again. So I'd say from here on out, unless you're a driver that's bottom half of the field, I wouldn't expect any more pit stops from here on out.
Lights are out atop the iRacing pace car. Currently, Vincent Crowe is in the lead. Colton Salick in the second position. Cosmo Ioannidis in third. Scott Eckridge fourth. Mike Rasmus in fifth. The 18 car. Jake Sylvia in sixth. Jason Galvin, the 42 machine, in 7th. Chris Stouffer in 7th. Tyler Graff in the 98 car in 9th. And how about Ron Hart rounding out the top 10? And guys, it's not very often we used to see the pole sitter for some of these races really up and around the top 10 all night. But Tyler Graff has been doing a phenomenal job to stick around here all night long.
Yeah, he's been right around the bottom half of the top 10 for the majority of this race, so doing a nice job. A lot of times we see that pole sitter go directly to the back, at least in the opening laps, and he's done the opposite. He's stuck around.
iRacing pace car gets prepared to make the hard left turn down pit road to see how long Vincent Crowe wants to wait before he puts his foot on the loud pedal this time by. This has been, I think, a 4th or 5th caution or so. Vincent Crowe has brought us back to green flag racing. Going a little bit early, a lot before the restart zone that last time by. Colton Salick, though, able to do a lot nicer of a job staying with him. He's going to have Cosmin Ionescu down to his inside. How about Scott Eckridge right now, looking a little bit racy here too. It's not very often we see Scott forced to give his tires all that they have for the end of the race, but I think this is one of those opportunities. Scott's going to really shine and show everybody just how fast he can be on the short run if he needs to.
Yeah, definitely. We've only got about 14 laps to go coming to the line here, so Scott's a guy that can find speed in the short run and the long run. Typically, we see him do the long run game, but we got a small amount of laps left in this race.
Yeah, how about 3 wide just behind that 70 car? Scott Eckridge right now. You got 3 cars battling over the 5th position. You've got Galvin, Sylvia, and how about Mike Rasmus? Lots of new colors there for that 68 machine. He's going to slingshot himself into that 5th position on the top side.
Yeah, once again, Mr. Consistency running in the top 5. That's something that we are used to seeing the entire year last year. We see Scott Eckridge going to the inside on the front stretch here. He's going to get up into that 3rd spot.
Yeah, a little bit of contact there between the 94 car, Cosmin Ionescu, and the 91 car there, Colton Salick. They kind of doored each other just a little bit. That really upset Colton Salick's car. That was why Scott Eckridge was able to go to the inside of Colton and why Mike Rasmus was able to go around the outside. You could see a little bit of a disagreement there in the in-game, in-simulation, in-race driver chat between those two, kind of barking at each other up over the radio.
Yeah, I think it might have been actually a little bit of an apology because Colton actually got really, really tight in 3 and 4 and made that narrow contact like what you said, and they're able to all save it and keep going here. You see Eckridge settle into 3rd place, but it looks like Mike Rasmus not going to be settled with that as he's going to go side by side, and this might potentially let the 2 leaders get away, at least for the temporary, the longer that these 2 are side by side.
Yeah, I was really surprised when Mike Rasmus got all the way up to the back end of Scott Eckridge. He gave him a little bit of a shot and then decided to burp the throttle just a little bit and shoot down to the inside of Scott. That's why you can see those 2 cars locked in battle right now. Rasmus gets really tight there off the bottom. Scott Eckridge flies away with the position. Jake Sylvia giving a big shot to Mike Rasmus as they head down the back straightaway.
Definitely getting to that inside of another car, even on the short run, is a little bit tough. It's hard to make that pass, so if you can't get it done, you're bound to lose a lot of spots once you get back to the straightaway. Mike Rasmus making that work, being able to get back up in line.
Boy, on these straightaways, you can really see Cosmin Ionescu trying to draw all the beat he can on Vincent Crowe just up the road. But I think right now, all the draft that Cosmin can get down the straightaways, Vincent is really able to kind of draw back even with him as they go through the corners, just with that clean air that Vincent's able to get on the nose of that 83 car.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that Vincent is going to be doing, this is the closing laps. He wants to maintain that lead. He's going to be looking in his mirror a little bit and kind of seeing where Cosmin is running, because you do not want him to be able to get clean air on his nose. You want to kind of take his line away from him. So if you see him running in the middle of the track, you're going to start to try to run that middle, not because you want to, but because you may upset that air on the nose of Cosmin's car and prevent him from getting closer to you.
Yeah, I tell you what, these 2 cats up in front have kind of been driving based off one another. The 2 people right now in 4th and 5th, that being the 18 car of Sylvia, the 68 machine of Mike Rasmus, they've been side by side slowing each other down. The fastest car in the track these last couple laps in the top 10 or so has been the 7 car, Scott Eckridge, as we see a caution flag once again. Getting where this one started with Pete Baskins there, the 39 car. So we'll see if we can get a replay here to see the cause for caution with about 8 laps to go here in the closing parts of this race. And you can see a little bit of sideways contact. Kenny just throws that car, Baskins, down to the inside.
Oh, and yeah, it looked like he actually hung a left to maybe get out of the groove, get out of the way, but just a bunch of cars coming in with a head of steam kind of ran him over there. And I thought Baskins actually did a pretty good job there, but the rest of the field didn't really check up for him.
Big slide through the grass there. One heck of a save by Baskins as well. And gets collected by a couple cars in the background there. Just when you think it might be a single car spin, it's a couple different ones.
And guys, this is going to set up, remember, we do not have green-white checkers in this league, but we do still have enough time for another restart, and that's going to be a crazy one because we're going to have probably less than 5 laps to go when we go green again. So it's, I mean, it might be kind of a drafting pack kind of race to the finish.
Yeah, and we're in Sin City. I feel like I'm going to commit a sin right now. We're going to go to break, and I don't even have a cool cutaway line. We'll be right back.
This is your chance to get behind the wheel. The opportunity to race just like the pros. From the grassroots levels, where we all got our start, to the most popular race cars on the planet. From the fairgrounds of Nashville to the high banks of Daytona, to tracks that will never be forgotten. Realistic driving, intense competition, all from the comfort of your own home. This is the ultimate motorsports simulation. This is iRacing. This is the world's premier online racing simulation. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat from your home computer with the most realistic online motorsports experience you'll find anywhere. Race virtually in the world's biggest events with officially licensed series, cars, and tracks. From the high banks of Daytona to the blistering speeds of Indianapolis, the dirt of Eldora to the world's most legendary road courses. It's all here, and with more than 180,000 people just like you already driving, you'll always have someone to race. Ready to get behind the wheel? Sign up at iRacing.com to get started.
Chuckles. I'm in danger. 250 can possibly go to the outside. He does go to the outside of Ricky Harden. Tries a slide draft him. Harden goes up the track. Now back down to the bottom. Gets a huge push from Tommy Ryan at the start finish. It's going to be Thomas George.
Running the high line, trying to make that
got
pass.
Loose off turn 4.
In the grass goes the 6 car, and they were side by side, 2 by 2 here.
Still Scott Eckler winning the last race of the season and the championship.
Jeff Ford definitely getting the championship for season 2.
Give it up for Thomas George, winning the race and the championship. George overshoots the corner. Scott puts that car just where he needs to on the middle. It's going to be a drag race through the kick. Welcome back to Las Vegas Motor Speedway. You're watching the Mars Properties Vacation Rentals 200 on the Virtual Grip Network. We're on lap 131 out of 134. We're just getting ready to close out what will be the last caution to go back to green flag racing. If we have a caution after this, the race is official. There are no green-white checkered finishes here in the Pretty Good Racing League, so we're hoping these drivers can keep it clean and green for a pretty good finish. Currently, Vincent Crowe is your leader. Cosmin Ionescu is in second. Scott Eckridge third. Mike Rasmussen fourth. Jake Sylvia in fifth. Colton Salick in sixth. Jason Galvin seventh. Ron Hart in eighth. William Farmer in ninth. And Chris Stouffer rounds out the top 10. And guys, it's been a crazy race up to this point. I'll be honest, I don't think I would have never guessed our top 5 would be how it is right now, especially Vincent Crowe being this strong in the first 3 races this first season here in 2023. Regardless, iRacing pace car has its lights off. Didn't make the hard left turn down pit road. Vincent Crowe really itching to get back after this. He's going to fire almost immediately, going to catch most of the field sleeping. Kenny, you were thinking Scott Eckridge is going to be in the catbird seat on this restart, but looks like he's going to be 5th as they enter turn 1.
Yeah, he got a horrible jump, but I wouldn't count him out of it. He got a decent draft there from Jake Sylvia in behind. But what this is going to do is give a nice gap to Vincent Crowe, but you see some drivers getting together, trying to push each other to draft up to that leader.
Yeah, if you're Vincent Crowe right now, the first thing you want to see in your mirror is all those guys too wide just jockeying for position. Scott Eckridge slots himself into third. Cosmin Ionescu bounces that car off the outside wall, gets a little bit squiggly. They're going to be 3 wide between Rasmus on the upside, Scott Eckridge down at the inside. Cosmin Ionescu bouncing around like a ping pong ball. Well, it looks like one car, the 19, into the outside wall just a little bit in the center of turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, Scott Eckridge clears Cosmin down the back straightaway. He gets that second spot. He's going to try to chase down Vincent Crowe as they're coming to the white flag here.
Yeah, they're going to get the white flag this time by, which means 1 to go. Vincent Crowe currently has about a 4/10 of the second lead as they cross the stripe. He won in Daytona, had a strong finish last time out in Fontana. Currently leads the points, wants to make sure he keeps his name up there. Did a really good job to finish high in the stage today. Got himself a decent amount of points. They're halfway done with the lap. Still Vincent Crowe out ahead of Scott Eckridge. Some jockeying for the 3rd position just behind those 2 drivers. Looks like though Scott Eckridge has nothing in the bank here for Vincent Crowe. He's going to come off at turn 4 and take the checkered flag here in Las Vegas.
Big win for Vincent Crowe, winning here at Vegas. Scott Eckridge having his best finish of the season, coming home in 2nd place. Cosmin finishing out in 3rd.
We're going to let the iRacing timing and scoring system do its thing. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to go through the finishing order and interview our podium finishers.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to the Mars Properties Vacation Rentals 200 from Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We just saw the end of the race there. Vincent Crowe takes home his 2nd win of the season in just the 3rd race so far. He finishes in 1st place, followed by Scott Eckridge, the best finish he's had all season, his 1st podium. Cosmin Ionescu follows up his win in Fontana with a 3rd place here to round out the podium. Colton Salek comes home fourth in the 91 car. Mr. Consistency shows why we gave him that nickname 1 year ago. He'll come home in the 5th position, followed by Jake Sylvia, who finishes in 7th. Jason Galvin gained 33 positions today to come home in the 7th position, followed by Ron Hart, who finishes in 8th. Rounding out the top 10 is Brian Yasek, and Tyler Graff, tonight's pole sitter, dropped 9 positions since the start of the race. Chris Stouffer gained 6 positions to come home in 11th, followed by Saeed Fares in the 44 car, who will finish in the 12th position. Isaiah Dupre comes home in 13th, followed by Will Farmer in the 14th position. Michael Krobach loses out in the Crow versus Krobach show quite in a big way there, coming home in 15th, followed by defending champion Thomas George, who is going to finish in 16th. Jeff Ward comes home in 17th, followed by Doug Roth in 18th, with Cody Dempster and Kevin Bartelt rounding out your top 20.
Yeah, coming home in 21st place tonight is Adam Jersky. Finishing 22nd, we have Jordan Harnish. Joe Branch, he'll come home in 23rd. Ed Fowler, 24th. William Farmer, he'll finish 25th tonight. Coming home in 26th place is Mark Herzog, who we saw involved in a lot of crashes tonight. He'll want to forget tonight's race. Finishing 27th is Aidan Gretz. Brady Cure, he'll come home in 28th. Angel Jamie led a lot of the race early here. He'll finish 29th tonight. Shane Parrish, he'll come home in 30th. Pete Baskin's taking a wild ride through the grass. He'll come home in 31st. 32nd place will be Adam Blattle. Joe Hassert, he'll finish 33rd. Adam Hoagland, he'll come home in 34th. Terry Marinero, he'll come home in 35th. Woody Mahan, 36th place. Finishing 37th is Creighton Carter. Matthew Wheeler, he'll come home in 38th. Ryan Rose, 39th tonight. Alex Gretz, he'll come home in 40th. 41st is Clarence Bonner, and coming home in the 42nd and last position tonight is Joshua O'Connor. He should be next week's pole sitter, guys.
Thanks, JR. We're now standing by with our winner tonight, Vincent Crow. Vincent, this is your second win in 3 races this season. How about going 2 for 3 here to start out the season?
I got really lucky again tonight. Cosman's a really good teammate. I want to really point out that Cosman did not get a countdown there. I saw Scott hanging back like 3 cars trying to jump the start or whatever he was trying to do. He was like 2 car lengths farther back. So as soon as I saw that and the pace car was gone, I just said, I'm going as quick as I could on Discord and just went. Scott is clearly, I think he's a better driver than I am. So when he's holding back like that, that's a small mistake. You got to take advantage of that. I had a lot of fun, raced really, really well. All of the Apex guys raced me really clean. We were really smart the whole time. Cody got tight. He's calling out that he's tight, and we were almost wrecking for that stage win. But, stage win and the race win, I feel like I proved that I'm not a hack. This race should have been called Vincent Crow's Not a Hack 500.
Well, you see, you got lucky there, and I'm not going to say you didn't get lucky there at the end, but you were up front most of this race, man. By and large, I feel like you were the car to beat all day. You know what? I think it's, and I said this before the race, this car is handling the way that the high downforce but high horsepower package at Atlanta did, and TWRS was so dominating that entire week. And I take credit to that. The way this car is with the update, how it's driving reminds me of that exact package. And I think we're going to race that package on the old surface like in a couple of weeks. So hopefully that holds true and I can get another win. And I extend my points lead. It's a really good feel-good win. Daytona I was blown out of my mind. I won the race. And now this race is like, okay, cool. All right, I'm ready for Phoenix. Yeah, man, you get the monkey off your back. That first win really opens the doors to a lot more other wins. Vincent, who do you have to thank before we let you go tonight?
Obviously, Apex Sim Sport and all of the fun guys in there, Cosman, Cody, Grant, the team owner who wasn't here tonight, Pete, all of the guys. I know I'm missing quite a few. And then obviously PGRL for putting the league on. They do a really good job, and we do a pretty good job policing, and we have a really large array of talent in this league in terms of like iRating, and I think we handle it well, a lot better than you will on an official for darn sure. So I want to thank them, and obviously Straight Arrow Products, including Mane and Tail, Cowboy Magic, and Boss Hoss. That Boss Hoss car I think looked really good on the broadcast, and I'm looking forward to seeing some pictures of it.
For sure. Vincent, once again, congratulations on the win, and thank you for taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah, man, you guys have a good one.
That was Vincent Crowe. He's going to come home and nab the checkered flag, his second this season in just 3 races. And guys, I think now we're standing by with Cosmin Ioanniscu at the moment.
Yeah, we're down here in the pits with second place Cosmin Ioanniscu. And Cosmin, a rough start to the season at Daytona, but seems like your season is now at full song with 2 really strong runs.
Wait, did you say second place? I think I finished third.
Or yeah, you did get third. Sorry, we normally
I
interview.
thought somebody might have got penalized, and I was like, wait, that's new.
Yeah, I'm totally used to having the last interview, and but it's second interview today, but third place. So again, talk us through your race and your season.
Oh, dude, that was fun. Honestly, I feel like we started pretty far back in the field, and having to making our way through was honestly really fun. In the first run, it was a little bit about saving your tires, managing your speed, trying to save that right front so you have grip coming off the corners, and not overdo the right rear as well. I feel like I did that pretty well. Drove from like the 30th to about 12th or whatever it was before the first caution came out. After that, we just managed our track position as best as we could and try to not make any enemies. not very successful with that, apparently. I'm just saying, I got no beef with anybody. Hopefully nobody does with me. It's a heat of the moment thing. And yeah, honestly, it was really fun. Worked really well with Vincent and Cody there again, just like last week. And this car, the changes that were done to this, I don't know if the setup was updated or not. It did make it better. It was more fun before, I think, at least with whatever setup I ran last week and the fixed stuff. But yeah, it was pretty fun, man. I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, that was actually most of my second question was with the big iRacing update, the new build that came out just today. Really, your only chance of practicing this new feel in the car was just the pre-practice here before the race. So, obviously, it sounds like the car didn't quite meet your expectations as far as how it felt. But was that really a challenge, and did it kind of affect how you ran the beginning of the race? We saw a lot of drivers kind of seem like they were kind of trying to feel things out for the first 20 laps or so.
Absolutely. The first run, I was trying to get as little dirty air to the nose as possible and see where that would get me. And it seemed to have worked pretty well. Everybody was running a little bit higher than the wide line, and I was hooking that wide line, and it got some good air to the left front, I feel like. And we were able to keep grip, and even after like 20 laps, when I saw a lot of people starting to lose grip in their rear end. So I think I figured something new out with the car. Hopefully it carries on to the weeks after this. Phoenix will definitely not be a good track for me. I despise that place, and I think it despises me. Never have a good finish there. But yeah, I'm very optimistic for the rest of the season.
Yeah, you're off to a pretty good start, and anything can happen at the races ahead. So, but who'd you like to thank for the top 3 run tonight?
I think I said Vincent and Cody for we worked together very well, and everybody on Apex that was just hanging out there, keeping the atmosphere nice and chill. We were having a blast, man. Honestly, we weren't laughing, we were just laughing at whatever was going on in the server. And yeah, and I'm very happy about that. So.
That was a great run for you tonight, and we will see you in the next one.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one, and hope everybody enjoyed the race.
That was Cosmin Ioanniscu with the 3rd place tonight. My mistake. Scott Eckrich got 2nd place tonight, but it looks like he's unavailable for interview, so we'll send it back upstairs for final thoughts.
Yeah, well, JR, it was one heck of a crazy race. We saw a fair share of cautions, but when it came down to it, the end of the race was green. We had a lot of leaders all day long, but chief among them, Vincent Crowe, held on to take his second checkered flag in 3 races to start out the season.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen Vincent be extremely fast this season. Took a lot of the season off last year. And then coming back this season, and he's come back ready to race, guys. He's put it on these drivers so far. But one thing that we kind of noticed is, once again, we see a lot of aggression from the newer guys in this league. And I know that the guys that dominated the last couple of seasons, they're going to get tired of that. They're going to start amping up what they're doing and start racing a lot harder to regain control of this series, because they're used to being up front. And it's just it's a little bit of a changing of the guard, I think, right now, Kenny.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, you have a lot of kind of a clash of that new and old guard. You have a lot of veterans, but a lot of rookies, but they're not really rookies in the sense they're not experienced, just new to the league. But they're coming in at full force with speed. You got, drivers, teammates working together. You got, kind of a clash of titans, if you will. And but I'm excited for next week. Next week's going to be the first short track of the season at Phoenix. You're going to see probably some shifting, a totally different type of racing, a lot less of the drafting that we've been seeing in the first multiple weeks of the season. So might see some different drivers up towards the front.
Yeah, certainly. We'll be back next week, Tuesday, March 14th from Phoenix International Raceway. As always, the broadcast is going to go up at 8:50 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you find yourself this Friday with not much to do as the time winds down in the evening, the BRL's Dirt Street Stock Series takes on Weed Sports Speedway at 7:10 p.m. Eastern Time. As always, this has been a pretty good production of the Virtual Grip Network. On behalf of myself, Austin Belke, my booth mates J.R. Shepard and Kenny Kibbe, our director Ryan Seneker, and everybody else behind the scenes here at the VGN. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good night.